Well, cock. I, didn't write an intro. So I guess there's no intro today. Alright, fuck it, let's go. Is it me, or is this thing driving me fucking nuts? The Logarius wheel is a weapon you get from completing Alfred's quest line by giving him the unopened Cainhurst summons, which gives him access to the Cainhurst castle, and he ends up killing the Vile Blood Queen and all of that, and oh shit, spoilers. Anyway, I'm telling you all that because I know no one actually doing this quest line is doing it specifically for this weapon. You're gonna do what I and everyone else did, and you're going to find Alfred out in the open somewhere and give that pasty blonde asshole a back alley beast cutter beatdown he'll never forget, or never remember, because he'll be dead. In my humble opinion, Alfred's questline was never really that interesting to me to begin with. I don't know. Feigning a postal service, also some Victorian Chad can get his rocks off killing some royal figure just isn't the riveting Bloodborne experience I signed up for. You can tell by his tone of voice that Alfred here is about one internet argument away from committing a federal crime anyway, so let me just ask you an honest question here. Is this a weapon you even want to fuck with, knowing it once belonged to this unstable, insufferable chatty Cathy motherfucker? Yeah, I remember halfway through this paragraph that I was supposed to be talking about weapons, and not my intense, unexplained, and really out-of-place resentment for Alfred's character. So I tied it in the best I could. Sorry, I hope you can find it in your hearts to forgive such an unpardonable trespass. But no, hang on guys. Is one single paragraph really enough here? Any hunter worth his salt out there knows Alfred's a gosh damn lunatic with a side of Swiss cheese, but am I really finished with this topic? What other weapon could possibly even belong in Rusty's number 9 spot? Why, the only weapon with the audacity to demand so much from the player while giving it so little in return? It only makes sense that I have the audacity to list the same damn weapon twice in a single video. That's right, fucker mothers, it's the Logarius wheel again. I don't know why, just go with it. This weapon drives me up the fucking wall. If this weapon were a kill streak, it would be the Predator missile. You rarely ever actually kill shit with it, and if you do, you either don't know how, or it just doesn't feel as fun and as satisfying as you thought it would. The wheel isn't a bad weapon. I mean, it definitely does its job, but imagine, hear me out, imagine if that wheel had teeth. Yeah, it has teeth, and it's motorized, and it actually scales with strength to the point where the two are almost synonymous with each other. Maybe it I don't know, maybe it has a handle on it, and you can retract it into a mace if you get bored. It'd be so cool if a weapon like that were to actually exist somewhere in Bloodborne.
Hey, wait a fucking minute!
Do you like the saw cleaver? Do you fancy the idea of wielding a weapon slightly less powerful, less fluid, and overall slightly less fun? Well then, not to worry. The saw spear is the golden standard in not meeting but falling just shy of expectations. Holy blood shards, dude. I've never, ever used a weapon I believe in as little as this meat cleaver looking atrocity right here. Well, hang on, that's not true. The wooden shield is pretty goddamn bad. Don't be fooled by its slightly longer weapon design, because whereas the saw spear excels above the cleaver in range, the moveset is still the exact same with slightly less damage, stagger, and rally potential. I don't know, if it sounds like I'm being redundant and saying slightly less in this paragraph more so than usual, that's because it's literally the only way I can think of to even describe this iron shit brick. If the cleaver is the flagship weapon they decided to feature on the front cover of the game, then the saw spear would be like if they redid the logo with fucking papyrus or something. Everything that's even somewhat good about it, except the honestly negligible range boost during its transformed mode, is outclassed by its bigger, more successful cleaver cousin-in-law. The one instance in which I've found myself actually preferring this weapon over the cleaver is taking out brain suckers with its thrusting moveset, and then quickly switching back to my trusty rusty Rikuyo to get the awful taste of saw spear dick out of my mouth. And besides, if it's thrusting movesets you're after, well, you're free to ask how I handled your mother last weekend. Heyo! Up next is the piercing rifle. It looks like the rifle spear, but it isn't the rifle spear. But it is. Yet it isn't. How miraculous. It's like the rifle spear, only it has a giant needle nose looking, thing on the barrel. God damn, dude. No wonder this shit got discontinued. I wish I could say the design of the gun isn't its most outstanding feature, pun intended, but to be honest, it's the first, last, and only interesting thing about it. Second only to the projectile model having a little helix fire trail to it compared to the basic linear trail of fire most guns have in Bloodborne. Sadly, looking cool, however, is about where my praise for this contraption ends. The description says hunters used to use this thing for hunting beasts in narrow alleyways, but I can't imagine how inconvenient it would even be to carry this thing into that kind of environment. Imagine trying to turn around. Like, it just, it wouldn't happen. You couldn't do it. It also says the piercing rifle doesn't stagger that well, but if you're a real hunter, as the kids say, then on God, you'll find a way to pull off a stagger with just about anything. My name is Tonitrus, and I bring a shock to yo sister. Oh my God. I know only like 5 people are gonna get that, but I wrote it in anyways. Wow, what a shock. This weapon is electrically bad. No, hang on. I can do better than that. Hang on. If this weapon were a vehicle, it would be a Volkswagen. Or a Hertz. Hang on. Sorry guys, give me a minute. I really tried, but there really was no spark between this weapon and I. I felt very little resistance to switch to something a tad more practical. Sorry guys, I got nothing for this one. It's shit, okay? I'm trying to say that Tonitrus is fucking shit. Oh, boys. If Bloodborne weapons were toxic fandoms, the rifle spear would be a modern warfare 2 lobby. So as to say, it's a fucking stupid monkey sucking shit son of a mother piece of my ass. I don't know what's gotten into me with all the COD jokes. It's okay. No. I'll stop. I've already made more than my fair share of jokes and quips against the rifle spear, and I don't really think it's any secret that I hate this piece of shit. Its moveset is extremely underwhelming, and it has a DPS that rivals throwing an empty roll of toilet paper at somebody, and then trying to strangle them with the remaining 3 sheets of single-ply toilet paper you just took from said roll. And then, I don't know, wiping your ass or something. Must resist temptation to make fisting joke. The Fist of Gratia, or Gratia, I don't give a shit, earns its name from a hunter that apparently thought guns and swords, albeit effective, just didn't really have as much satisfaction as grabbing a large piece of steel and bludgeoning dudes over the head with it. This is where our hunter story in Bloodborne both begins and ends, and to my knowledge, she's never really mentioned anywhere again except in this item description. The reason I'm giving you that little piece of backstory is because I've never used this thing outside of getting the necessary footage for this video, and before you say anything, neither have you. It does piss-ass damage and piss-ass strength scaling, and I feel like it actually would be a half-decent weapon if it didn't chew up your stamina bar like a malnourished husky chews up a meatball sub. But hey, if you ever wanted to turn Bloodborne into the world's most detailed Mike Tyson's Punch-Out simulator, then shit, here you go, have fun. This weapon is for those special occasions where swinging around a sharp stick with a gun attached to it just kind of stops being fun. I've ran through this game now at least 10 different times, and not once did this hunk of iron ever actually make it into a build, largely because it never really needed to. But once it did, I swear to God, it's like playing an entirely different game. What was once a looming ghastly terror of mankind becomes unable to attack you or even stand up because it's too busy being clobbered by a brick. Come to think of it, on top of being one of the Okay-est weapons, it's also one of the Okay-est looking as well. It really is as simple as you can get. It's just a few finger holes molded to a steel ingot. It's kind of what brass knuckles would look like if they were invented by the Jarl of Whiterun or something. I don't know what's heavier, boys, the stone end of this godforsaken hammer or the weight of my poor little heart upon discovering its uselessness. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that it's bad. I'm only saying there's already a harder hitting weapon with twice the stat scaling, and it's the most OP weapon in the entire goddamn game. So, I guess if you like the Holy Blade, but you want the game to seem slightly more fair, then I guess the Kirkhammer isn't a bad option. I feel like there's a sword in the stone joke here somewhere, but I went back and wrote this part after everything else in the video was finished, so my creative juices are running a little low here. Just pretend I said something kind of funny. The Amygdalan Arm. Yeah, guess what, fuckers? I can read comments. The Amygdalan Arm, on top of being the weirdest weapon in Bloodborne, in my opinion, except for maybe the Parasite, it also demands much more from you as a player than what I, and apparently a lot of others, even think it's worth. To get to the Amygdalan Arm in the Old Hunters DLC, this game has the audacity to run your ass through the gauntlet of champions, of legends, dare I say. It isn't bad enough that they have a GG easy cancer Gatling gun Uncle Fucker patrolling the narrow walkway outside the cave that, despite being born 80 some odd years before your character, somehow knows exactly all of your tactics and refuses to be lured out from the opening of the cave by pretty much anything, the fat bastard. But I swear to God, dude, going inside this cave is just a clusterfuck. It's a Saturday Night Live back alley beatdown on your dumbass starring the blood-starved fuck-mothering beast and his welcoming committee of assorted shitheads. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I saw the glowing white icon far into the depth of the cave, and despite going for it anyway, I knew 100% that whatever had been thrown down into the throat of this evil grotto was nowhere near worth what this game was asking me to do for it. 2 swings of this behemoth and I quickly discovered that I was fucking correct. I'm sure it's a great weapon with the right builds and the right blood gems enforcing it, but after my run-in with Professor Backflaps al, there could have been a tactical nuke at the end of that cave, and I wouldn't have been impressed. You could have presented me with Riku's Keyblade and a blowjob, and I would have just smacked that shit right out of your hands. And probably very reluctantly accepted the other. Yes, viewer, I understand this bit has long overstayed its welcome, but just know that if I wanted to, I could very well make you sit here and listen to the absurdly long list of rewards I would not accept at the end of this cave. Why is this even here? Why the fuck is this even here? I can't say anything good about this weapon, and I can't really say anything bad about it either, to be completely honest, because it doesn't do anything, like, at all. It's the bronze standard. It's a basic wooden pole with a small amount of ouch at the end of it, and it may do enough to impress those ugly trolls with the attention span of a mosquito, but to me and everyone else here, it's a stick that's on fire. Fuck. Cool. It's as bland and as mediocre as it gets. A true testament of being just fine. Tolerable, the bare acceptable minimum. The cornerstone example of keeping your expectations lower than hell so that you'll never have a problem meeting them. Congratulations, Hunter's Torch. You get the torch for being the official Okay-est, blandest, and most ordinary weapon in all of Bloodborne. Now fuck off. Fuck off, you useless fucking Yankee Doodle dumbass, shit-gritting fucking piece of fuck.